For the National Party, are they going with new, fresh Luxon? Are they going with the old hand and Simon Bridges? Which way is this going to go? We're joined by someone who's been in this caucus room making these decisions before, and that is Jonathan Coleman, former National MP Cabinet Minister, also our political commentator Trish Sherson. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Ryan. Hi, Trish.
Jonathan, I'll start with you. Would you be going fresh and bold and new this morning?
Well, look, I think that's a very attractive option, isn't it? Because they need someone who can heal these massive divisions. And look, the public are wanting to see some movement forward. They want to forget about all these terrible fights National have had. And they want to have someone who can get on with pointing out all the ridiculous stuff the government's currently up to. So fresh and bold is very appealing.
But there are pros and cons to each side, Trish. And you look at fresh and bold, and we've done that with Muller, and look how that ended.
Yeah, we sure did. I mean, I think the problem is at the moment that even National Party MPs themselves wouldn't trust themselves to sit the right way on the lavatory. I mean, it's in such disarray. There's a couple of things I think they need to quickly do this morning. Number one is try and avoid a vote if they can. Number two, I think they have to stop believing that Luxon or any new leader is the second coming of John Key. Luxon might be close to Key, but he's not Key, and the party really needs to move on from that. I'm going to put a bold pick out there this morning. I'm going to go with Luxon as leader, Willis as deputy, Bridges as finance, and I think he would do a great job as the finance spokesperson, and probably someone like Chris Bishop in at number 4. But, again, for the caucus, the big question for them when they're making this decision today is not who they want, but who can actually attract middle voters of New Zealand, and that's men and women. That's really important because they're really lagging in terms of attracting women voters.
Yeah. Jonathan, do you think the unity message that Trish is putting out there this morning, do you think that either one or other of them needs to be the leader or finance? In other words, if Luxon is leader, Bridges must be finance and vice versa?
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty good move. And I think bringing Nicola Willis in as a deputy to either would also be excellent, because you've got to have balance in a whole lot of senses. I mean, you've got to have gender balance, you've got to have regional balance, you've also got to have conservative and liberal. And you couldn't have two conservatives, i.e. Luxon and Bridges, in one or two, or vice versa. So that is going to be really important because, as Trish says, they've got to appeal to middle voters. But look, this at the moment is a matter of getting back those people who should be voting National. I mean, so many people say to me, look, I want to vote National, but frankly, at the moment, I just can't give the party my vote because it's such a mess. And they're either going to vote ACT or, worse, actually, just not turn up to the polls. So, look, it has to be a unity team and a unity message. And I think Trish's pick there, if you're a betting person, putting money on that is a pretty good pick.
Yeah, Trish, do you think, to Jonathan's point about the polls, how much room is there, do you think? If they get this right today, could they see a bounce, and how big could that bounce be?
It's totally guesswork, isn't it? And it's really early days for a poll. We're 2 years out from the next election, but it could be as big as sort of a 6-point bump potentially. The issue is, though, the timing is quite tricky for a new leader. Normally that first 100 days for a new leader is really critical to get themselves set up, to get some runs on the board. Don't forget, this new leader will have a couple of weeks, and then Kiwis will all go away on holiday. And I think this year, more than any other, the last thing Kiwis want to do is hear from any politician over the summer. They're absolutely over it. So that'll be quite tricky to navigate. I think there's 3 Ps for the new leader of the National Party that they'll have to really get focused on really quickly. The first one is people, so the team around them and getting that broader caucus in behind, but also giving a pretty clear signal to the National Party board that actually they don't want any more shenanigans. The second P is purpose. What is the purpose of the National Party? To Jonathan Coleman's point just before, and Kiwis have no idea what National stands for, and in fact that's why ACT is stealing a march on all those big policy areas. And the third P is policy. They have to start getting some clear policies out there, and next year is the year to do it. So they've got a good, 18 months of campaigning before the next election.
Yeah, brilliant. Guys, thank you so much for your analysis this morning. Really appreciate it. Political commentator Trish Sherson, former National Cabinet Minister Jonathan Coleman. It is just coming up to 28 minutes away from 8 o'clock.